What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time for the Snug Wrestling Podcast with me, your host. My name is Edgar. Special guest in the building. Danny Storm is here with us, and we're going to learn about his career, get to talk to Danny Storm, what it's like, running the independent scene right now. So, Danny, welcome. Thanks for being on the show. How are you feeling today?
No, thanks for having me. This is only my second time doing one of these, and the first time I did it was much earlier in my career. So I'm excited. A lot of things to talk about. So very happy to be here.
That's awesome, dude. Well, three times Warriors of Wrestling Tag Team Champion, one half of the Rise, the name of your tag team when you guys were champions. My first question to you is, how did you decide like, hey, I want to be in this tag team? How was that team formed? And what was the decision like to go into the tag team scene instead of doing the singles thing?
Yeah. So I mean, when I first started training, I started at the same time as the guy that I tagged with, Mike Ditello, and we just everything we did everything together. We struggled together through the beginning. We had our I believe our first not my very first match was a singles match, but then like second or third match we were in a tag team, and it wasn't like, something that was going to last. It was kind of like, hey, like, these are two new students, we'll put them in a match, they'll tag up. And we were just like, one day at training, I was like, yo, like, we have really great chemistry. And like, then we started doing a lot of shows together, and it just became like family, you know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't really that we were looking for it. It was kind of just like it was there. It just kind of happened naturally. And still, like, in our home promotion, Warriors of Wrestling, we're typically right now doing singles, me and Mike, but in other promotions, we are still like traveling together, road trips, we're still doing the rise. So really, really love Mike. And yeah, so basically it was kind of natural and authentic the way that happened. And I love tag team wrestling. It's so different, so unique. So
Yeah, dude. So that's yeah, so it just felt like you guys just clicked. You guys had that instant like you said, chemistry. So it made sense when it happens naturally like that. So okay. Are you guys still in that tag team? You guys are still going strong right now as the Rise?
yeah, so in our main promotion, we're doing singles, but we have our moments. We had a fatal five way for the heavyweight championship 2 months ago, and we were both in it, like, in the five way. But we had a few moments as the rise, like the old team reunites. But yeah, in other promotions, we're still doing it, and as we'll talk about some of the WWE stuff, he's also done it with me. So a lot of the traveling and the trips, I've done it with him. So really, my whole wrestling career has been synonymous with him. So.
That's amazing, dude. That's cool to hear. You guys got that bond, that brotherhood, man. And that's some of the best tag teams. That's how they start. I feel like, just having that connection with someone is really good. Now, you mentioned Warriors of Wrestling. That's your home promotion, but you guys are still working in other promotions as well. Can you tell us a little bit about first? Tell us a little bit about Warriors of Wrestling. How did you get started there, and what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll tell you from the very beginning. So speaking, you said the word brotherhood, so my biological brother, he also wrestles with me too. So we both would wrestle in the basement of our house, and because we did mixed martial arts, so we had a mat, and we were just putting holes in the wall, just having absolute chaos around the house.
Just
So
destroying the place.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, when I was in college, I wanted to start wrestling, but there wasn't really a good opportunity at that point because there was no really close school to where I was in, wrestling school near my college. So the second I graduated, I looked up local schools, and Warriors of Wrestling really conveniently is like a 25-minute drive from me.
Oh, hell yeah.
So really lucked out with that, and yeah, so went in there. I mean, and it's not completely linear story. The first day I went in there, I was out of shape. And I got like I had a real big problem. Like, I ever heard of rhabdomyolysis?
No.
So
No.
that's basically when your muscles break down so badly. that it leaks creatine into your bloodstream. So the first day I went, I was not prepared for wrestling, and I went to work the next day, and it's TMI, but
Mm-hmm.
if you urinate like brown, like you gotta go to the hospital right now. 'Cause I was like, oh shoot. So I went, I was in the
Yeah.
emergency room for days, and they were like thinking I needed dialysis and stuff, and like I couldn't walk for a while. It was a big, big situation.
Yeah.
So
Very serious stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So there was a point where I was like, maybe that wasn't for me. And then
Mm-hmm.
I went to physical therapy and I bounced back and like that was like, all right, man, if I want to do this, I gotta tackle it gym, cardio, and I came back as a basically a new person, and now I hit the ground running. So I would say that's been about four years now almost since like restarting. So it's not an easy journey. You know what I mean? It's very intense. It's
Dude.
like any other sport. You know what I mean?
And how have you been feeling since then, man? Have you been feeling good? Have you had those issues still or
No, I'm a completely different person now. Yeah, because I was like 220 and like pure like like no muscle. Now I'm like 190 with muscle and like I'm leaning out and I still want to get leaner. So I've definitely tackled the fitness game and the gym, and for more than just wrestling, just trying to make sure I'm healthy, eating right, eating the right foods, all those kind of things are really important too. So
yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, dude, you got to have that discipline not just for for what you want to do, which is something that you love, but also for yourself, dude, for your this is your life, dude.
yep.
And you're fairly young too, like I mean, I don't want to call you out, but I'm assuming like your mid 20s.
Yeah.
So like I was just having this conversation with my brother too. He's like around your age. I'm 33. I'm not that much older, but I'm already starting to feel it in my own body where
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
"Hey, I got to start taking care of myself a little more." And I was telling him the same thing. I'm like, "Dude, you're not a teenager anymore, dude. You got to be more careful, what you do, exercise." So, I'm really glad, dude, because it's hard to have that discipline sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Um but I'm
I
glad
mean,
to hear that you're
there
doing
was no
better.
better wake up call than that, man. And I think, that story isn't. I wouldn't want to discourage anybody with that story. I'd rather motivate people. Like, if you want to start something like this or whatever your dream is, like, from day one, like, even if you have the figment of a thought that maybe I want to try pro wrestling one day, and you don't know the school yet, but start hitting the gym now. You know what I mean? I tell that to all the new students that are coming by, even observing. Like, start working on that right now. So then by the time you are in the ring, you're more prepared than you would have been. So
That's great advice. Yeah, man. So you said that Warriors of Wrestling was a 25-minute drive. Where's that located? Where are you from, Danny?
Staten Island, New York.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yep.
Yeah, so just spoke to Chris Steeler, I think it was last week. He's also
Nice.
from that same area too. So yeah, man, we're across the nation, man, but we're still
That's my guy.
here.
I've had a lot of matches with Steeler, and he is a really great inspiration to a lot of the students. He's been around the block, and he's done a lot of. I mean, I don't know how long his career has been, but it's been really. He has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and he loves to share it. So he's definitely a great person to have in the locker room.
Yeah, he's dope, man. I had, had a lot of fun talking to him. Well, cool, man. So what about some of like the other promotions that you've been working with? Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, one of my favorite ones right now is it's called Championship Entertainment Productions. It's over in Long Island, so it's a little further with traffic, like maybe like 2 hours and a half maybe to get there, but completely worth it because the first show they ever did was kind of like a medieval times kind of theme, where
Mm.
you had the wrestlers wearing different colors and you would be assigned a color to root for, and I felt like that was really cool to like introduce
Oh
people
wow.
to wrestling because you might not know what wrestling is, but that I gotta cheer for the guy in red right now. So man, those crowds were going crazy, and then from there, they've had a lot of great, always a great crowd. It's always well organized. They've had some affiliations. Like I did a show with them that was in collaboration with NWA. So they
Mm.
did some really great stuff. So I keep my eye out on CEP.
Nice. Okay. Well, there you have it. Check them out for sure. Well, you're one half of the Rise, three-time Warriors of Wrestling champion. And remind me, what was your tag team partner's name again? I'm sorry.
Mike Datello.
Okay, shout out to him. So you guys are a tag team specialist. So for this next part of the interview, I want to play a little game with you. All right. I'm gonna name some tag teams, and I just want to hear what you think about these tag teams. All right, just whatever comes to mind.
I just want to let you know first, I'm obviously a big wrestling fan, but my
Mhm.
knowledge of the very, very past, you know what I mean? I kind of started watching wrestling a little like in the middle of my life, so I might not nail some trivia, but yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, no trivia, just your personal thoughts. Like what you
But,
think, what comes to mind when you hear these names. I just want to hear what
yep.
you think. The first one is a very popular tag team. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you haven't, that's perfectly fine. Too Cool, Scotty Too Hottie, and Grandmaster Sexy. What comes to mind when you hear that name?
You know, I'm pretty Warriors had Scotty Too Hottie before I started. Um, I mean, just a
Hmm.
ton of character there. You know, you have to freaking stay in. You know, you just that I would think that a lot of people gloss over that and all the character work and getting the crowd involved, and that is really, really essential. But yeah, and I would need to brush up a little bit on some of their matches though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we had him right before I started training.
Okay. This next tag team, part of the WWE currently. You mentioned you did some stuff with them recently, which we'll get into here in a little bit. The Street Profits. What are your thoughts on the Street Profits?
There's some people I've spoken to that swear by the Street Profits and like to use them as an inspiration right now for modern tag team wrestling. And the quote is that they have the hottest comeback in like all of professional wrestling across the board. So yeah, no, I love their dynamic, and it reminds me because also how I did tag teaming with Mike. You know, I also had a stint where I was tag teaming with my brother, and he's basically me, but like just twice my size. You know, he's so we had that dynamic of the big powerhouse, and I was kind of filling the role of the high flyer. You know, coming off the top rope and whatnot. So yeah, no, they are absolutely incredible, 100%, and hilarious.
All right. The third tag team. What can you tell us about the Vaudevillains, Aiden English and Sam Gotch?
I don't know. So I don't know if you did the research there, but I did fight them a few months ago.
Oh,
Um,
what? Really?
yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
no idea. What a coincidence.
That's
Oh my God, you wrestled the Vaudevillains?
so yeah.
Damn.
So that was a. They are absolutely incredible, man. And working with them was just you can definitely feel when who's a professional, you know. And it was really funny, you know. I wrestled with Simon in there, and when we got in the ring, he was just like, "Yeah, we'll just wrestle." And he just started just working me around. He is freaking strong. He knows what he's doing. He's a freaking awesome like shoot wrestler. That kind of style is a lot of fun. And yeah, no, they were it was an absolute honor to be able to work with guys like that. And then, you know, I still keep in contact with them. That Aiden English had actually helped me get extra work for TNA when they went to Long Island. So, you know, that kind of a thing too. So yeah, no, just incredible people. And obviously you think about their run, you know, NXT, you know, you had that what was it, takeover Brooklyn, right? Or was it Brooklyn when they won? That crowd pop was just insane. So yeah, no, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, for the people that don't remember, the Vaudevillains were a tag team in the WWE and in NXT, and I believe they also had some matches in the main roster, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, dude, you got to wrestle them. I did the research. We have to know this. We have to know Danny Storm. We have to know about Danny Storm's career. So um, I thought that was really cool. So you got to experience that. Besides that, like, have you had like any other encounters with like other big names that come across Warriors of Wrestling or someone that you've looked up to or that's giving you some advice? I mean, besides the Vaudevillains, what can you tell us about that, if anything?
So obviously, you know, you get to pick the brain of people who come by. You know, recently Warriors has had Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander, and you know, you get to pick their brain a little bit. But you know, the in terms of directly working with, I also did Mike Bennett and Brandon Cutler. So
Hmm.
um yeah, no, that was they were a lot of fun to work with as well. So anytime you get the opportunity to share a locker room with these guys, you want to get the chance to ask for some advice, or if they had the chance to watch your match even, I mean, that and get that valuable feedback. And then I had a really cool opportunity too, being with the backstage of WWE, because my favorite wrestler and my biggest inspiration is Finn Balor. And I actually wrestled in Ireland, and I got to wrestle against two of the guys. I don't know if you saw, like, Balor and JD went to Ireland and wrestled in I think it was over the top or something, or some of that in
It was pretty
Ireland.
recent, right? Like last year
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like
I
that.
believe they were the tag team champions at the time. So
Yeah.
my brother and I had got to wrestle them, their students. That's who that, so then I got to speak with JD and Finn about that and get advice from them. So that was a really surreal moment as well. So
Damn, that's amazing, dude. You getting to rub shoulders with all these people, man, at such a young age, man. That's got to be exciting, man, and also keeps you more motivated to want to keep going, you know? So that's really cool because you always hear about stories from like the younger guys that they don't really want to listen to like the veterans, or like they think they know everything. But you look like you got a pretty good head on your shoulders for being so young. So I take it you actually take the advice and you listen and you pay attention, and as opposed to, some of the other people that maybe might not,
no, you
right?
have to, man. I mean, even Enzo, we had Enzo, and being he is the tag team specialist. That whole time, Enzo and Cass, obviously, asked him for some tag team advice, and he said, like, if you're taking the heat, don't you basically you can build a match where you don't even get one move in, because that'll make when that when Big Cass got the tag, like, that made it mean so much more, and like that's when the building was ready to explode. So,
Yeah,
like,
that hot tag.
building your matches in different kind of ways, like, and kind of playing different roles in the matches. So it's really interesting to, yeah, and it definitely is inspiring as well, and motivating, as you said, 100%.
Do you ever get like nervous, like or kind of hesitate where you're like, oh man, I want to go up to this guy and ask for like some tips or something? And if so, like, has anyone, you don't have to mention any names, but like, has anyone that you've actually approached to get some advice shot you down? Or for the
No,
most
no.
part, are they usually
Only
like eager to help?
So the only times when, like, you're hesitant is when they're clearly busy, like they're getting ready, and they're in the zone. So you want to wait for that. You don't want to disturb them when they're in the moment. But really, genuinely, my interaction with everyone across the board, like, the worst I ever got was like, "Oh, I didn't get to see your match. Sorry about that." But then there's some people that, they'll give you their Instagram or email and say, "Send it to me, and I'll try to watch it when I get a chance." And they actually will. Like, I mean, even Kalisto, what just didn't expect it at all. I sent him the match. He watched it, gave me a ton of feedback. Simon Gotch is another one. He gave tremendous amounts of feedback to everyone else's matches. He wrote them like essays, and it was really valuable information that people took with them. And he was basically doing. It's almost like he gave a seminar that day too. He was just doing stuff with people, and just they wanna. A lot of people there want to share what they know and their experience, 100%. So
That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, that's good to hear. So yeah, one of your biggest matches that I was aware of was versus the Vaudevillains. Any other matches that you had? It doesn't have to be with like a known name or anything that you kind of you're gonna remember forever. I mean, I hate to say it's such a stereotypical question. Oh, what's your favorite match of your career? But like, um, yeah, just a match that you'll always remember that you've had so far.
so I think my favorite match, there's kind of two of them that are really special to me right now. And they kind of happened earlier in my career, and I feel like that's part of, not that I'm getting around the block or something, but like those kind of firsts were gigantic. the first time that me and Mike won the tag team titles. It was a street fight versus the Midnight Classics. They're Chris Romano and Justin Adams, guys around Warriors and whatnot. And man, we killed each other. It was a freaking battle, and the crowd was insane. And oh my god, it was easily one of my favorite matches of my entire career. Obviously, because it's special because of the first time. But even a guy like Chris Romano, where I got to wrestle him, and he's towards the end of his career, and he's kind of slowing down now. So to be able to catch someone like him and get that knowledge and get him to have one of I'm sure that's one of his favorite matches too. So and then the second one is very similar. Another tag team title win. The second one was me and Mike versus another tag team in Warriors called the Cause, Roger Mendez and Max Bain, and that one was just both of those matches are so special to me. Not only because of the win, but just also because of the opponents. Roger. We're also on the road with him all the time, going to different shows, and Max. I love him. So just doing such incredible things with people that I love. You know what I mean? So really, really special
Mhm.
moment.
That's awesome, dude. Um, well, cool, man. That's interesting, man. I always like hearing stories like that, man. So since you're a part of the Rise, part of the tag team, I wanted to share something with you. If I was ever a wrestler, which I'm not, I was always scared to do it. I had the opportunity came, but I did not take it, obviously. But if I were to do it, and if I was in a tag team, the name of my tag team, I would call them the Gutter Boys. Also, I should let you know that my favorite band is the Bowling Stones. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but I
So
heard
so
word on the street is that you're not just a wrestler, but you have some success bowling as well, right?
that is hilarious, man. I didn't really know where you're going with it, but now that is hilarious. You did some good research, man. So yeah,
How
no,
did you go from bowling to wrestling?
I was a collegiate bowler, traveling around with my college, going all over the place with bowling. And those are, man, I love that too. I have a lot of stories about that. We could do another episode on the bowling. But yeah, no, it was just kind of something that I just started in high school and it was fun. And then I started working at the bowling alley and I was coaching the kids. And then I went to college. I was like the president of the bowling team, and we were organizing all these tournaments and stuff. And we held like the first tournament in our college's history, like where people came to us. So man, like yeah, no, that is a funny transition though. There's a promo I did with Mike once, and I was hyping him like, yeah, come on, man, like, you're an animal. You played football. You did this. And he's like, yeah, and you did bowling. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you tell
So
people that like in the locker room, like, yeah, after this wrestling match, I'm gonna, I bowl on my
yeah,
free time or
the problem is, man, bowling got expensive. It got really
Mhm.
expensive around me. So I went the other day. I'm kind of washed now, but I still love it. I would Yeah, there's some people like that do bowl. Like I have one guy in Warriors that also bowls, but we never went. We got to make that happen one day. But
Yeah, I thought
that's
that was
funny.
crazy. It's just like I don't know. The most randomest thing I thought when, speaking or thinking of a pro wrestler, like I know everyone has hobbies on the side, but when I saw that bowling was one of your things, I was like, okay, I got to bring this
Yeah,
up. I got to
yeah,
hear about this. That's
yeah, yeah.
amazing, dude. You even won like I think do you have more championships bowling than you do wrestling or how does that
Probably,
what's the
I
number
probably
like
do.
there?
Yeah, yeah, I probably do. I mean, the high school team won multiple years. The only thing I haven't really done, I haven't thrown a 300 yet. I threw a 299 though. That's like 300 is a perfect game if you. So
Like
I was really close.
strikes back to back?
Yeah, 12 strikes in a row. So I got 11 in a row, and then on the last one, I messed up. So
Damn, so yeah, dude.
it's tough. It's
Man,
tough.
you're pretty good
Bowling
then,
bowling
man.
is something. It gets really deep because they put down a sport pattern. Like so, these guys on TV you're watching, they got to be perfect down to like the inch. Like if you miss slightly, like it's over. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is, dude. I like it too. It's cool. But yeah, it does get pricey over here too.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, dude, we talked about your tag team title run. You know, we talked about the rise. We talked about some of your greatest matches and Warriors of Wrestling. And how long have you been wrestling, by the way? You said it was like 4 or 5 years, right?
I would say four. 2021 is probably when I kind of had my first match. When I started training, I started training basically as soon as COVID was starting to lift up. So, because that
Okay.
held me back, COVID and all that stuff is. I was in school still a little bit, so yeah. So yeah, I'd say 2021.
Damn. So it's been a really, I mean, depending on who you ask, 4 or 5 years, some people would say that, that's a long time, but that's still fairly early. I think it's safe to say. And you've already had a lot of high profile matches, dude, and you've been in Ireland, and you've you know learned from the best of the best, and man, you've even done some extra stuff with WWE, man. So you're really hitting this thing hard, I feel like, which is really cool. But what's next for Danny Storm? What's your goal? Where do you see yourself going in the next couple years? Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a big question, man, and I think about that a lot. So you're right that it has been relatively quick, and I do feel myself coming into kind of that area where, obviously, I still have the veterans in the locker room. I listen to everything they say, and I learn everything I can. But I also am kind of in this middle ground where the new students, they look up to me a lot. Like I pride myself on a lot of new students. I don't know why, but I work with them really well, and I kind of like know where their brain is at, and I'm able to give a quality match with someone who's been wrestling for like 3 months. You know what I mean? And when a lot of other people might struggle to do that, they might not, because you have to cover for a lot of mistakes and whatnot. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I pride myself on. So I'm kind of in that area now where I think I'm starting to get it. Wrestling is kind of a thing that you never fully. You're always like everything else. You're always going to be learning every single day. Even the veterans are learning every single day. But in terms of my plans, you know, obviously, obviously the big one, WWE is doing a lot of interesting things right now with independent talent. They have their ID program, so that is a really great goal to work towards. I know it's very limited selection, so you just always got to work towards it. Right now, my immediate goal right now, I really want to just dial in my shape. I really want to get down to like 180, 185. Hopefully, get some abs. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that's the kind of thing that helped me stand out a little bit more. Just really clean that up. I'm working on it every day.
Presentation, dude,
And
it's important.
yep, yep. And again, I came from a long way. There's a before and after somewhere on my page, and so I'm proud of my progress. But I know the work's not done. And then lastly, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to make it to WWE, and I'm really interested every time I'm there, though. Just being in that environment, I do also see that there's a lot of other ways to get there. There's a lot of almost every single staff there was a wrestler at one point. You have producers and you have writers and you have obviously referees and so there's a lot of ways to make a job happen. And I wouldn't say no. You know what I mean? Like if it depends. I think I give it many, like obviously I still have a lot of time, but if an opportunity like that presented itself, it's gonna be a very interesting conversation to have. So
That's very positive, man. I like that mindset because you're pretty much open to to try anything, and that says a lot about someone's character and work ethic, someone who loves the business that just wants to learn and be a part of it. So, I mean, that's
actually, I got
gonna
one last thing too. Is like, and out, there's this other side of it too. So my day job, I work with people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. So one of my biggest pride like things that I've ever done is I was able to set up a wrestling show for my agency. And man, we had like 70 people. They were going crazy. They loved it. And we also just did a show on Friday 2 days ago for a summer camp, and it was 130 kids. Like, kid gave me a hat. I gave him my arm sleeve. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
moments
dude.
like that, and like they remembered me from like last year, and like you know what I mean. Like you, if my journey, if that's where it is, I won't have any regrets. Like that is everything to me. You know what I mean? Being able to make someone's day like that, and
That's what
so
it's all about. Yeah.
yeah. So whatever way my journey goes, like I think I'm gonna be happy with every outcome. But I'm definitely gonna shoot for the stars. Work, give myself the best opportunity possible. So
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, you mentioned WWE ID, and that, that's obviously one of your goals and that you're working towards. It's very selective. What can you tell us more about that? Because I'm not very familiar with WWE ID. Is it like some they just like reach out to you and they're like, hey, we want to put you a part of this program, or is it something like you have to try out for, or do you know how that works by any chance?
from what I'm aware of, I believe there's like 20 independent wrestlers that got picked up for this, like in across like the whole program, and this is like their first kind of wave of doing it. They also partnered up with some schools, but it was kind of like a lot of the bigger schools, like like Cody's school, I think like Booker T's school, like a lot of like probably Seth Rollins' school, like a lot of schools like that got partnered
Mm.
up with them. So yeah, I mean, not necessarily a tryout. I think everything you do is a tryout. They're always watching. Every match you have, you have to have that mindset. That at any point somebody could be watching. Um, so I think it's kind of one of those things where if they see that you're a good fit for it, like they could reach out to you. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So I again, it's there's not a lot of details on what's next for them. You know what I mean? Like there's only you can only, but I would imagine eventually they would add more people to it. So at some point,
Yeah,
but they're
hell
all
yeah.
wrestling on. Most of those guys are wrestling now on Evolve, WWE Evolve,
Mm.
and some of them are even leaking into NXT a little bit. I
Mhm.
believe Swipe Right, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes. I believe that's their names. I think they're having some NXT appearances as well. So
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. I got a couple comments here. Shout out to Elwood, Draven Grimes, the Heel Shit podcast, the crew. They're watching. Great interview. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. We're here with
so guys,
Danny Storm. Next up and coming rising star in the independent scene from Warriors of Wrestling. You mentioned a little bit that you did some extra stuff for TNA. What can you tell us about that?
yeah. So they had TNA Slammiversary that was in Long Island, and yeah, so through Aiden English, very grateful to him. I thought I thanked him 70 times to help put my name in, and it was a good experience. I didn't get to do anything on screen. Like a lot of the time when you do these things, it's kind of chance. Because it's what they need. So they had some guys do Mustafa Ali's Secret Service, and then they had like one pull apart, but I was doing something pretty cool. I think it was a really different experience. I was helping run the gear, so like they would give their jacket and I'll bring it backstage and put it. So that was a different experience overall. Just running back and forth really felt like I was part of the team for that night. So it was different. It was really different experience, and hopefully I can have more opportunities with them. I haven't reached out yet. I'm waiting, just for them to come around New York area again, and we'll see what happens. So definitely a
Well,
good
you
experience.
didn't have on screen for TNA Slammiversary, but you did recently at the WWE. And I gotta ask, I have to ask, but if you can't tell us, I get it, but I'm still gonna ask anyway.
Mhm.
How the hell did that even come about? What was that like? It was a pretty big segment on SmackDown involving huge stars, Logan Paul, Jelly Roll, Drew McIntyre, and I'm pretty sure Randy Orton was in there too, right?
Yeah.
What can you tell us
Awesome.
about that? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. So my journey with them has actually been going on for a little bit now. My first time doing it was a year ago. So I think I kind of, to be completely transparent with you, my trainer helped reach out to them and help me put together my resume and my all those kind of things. And luckily, we were able to get a response. So me and my friend Roger I mentioned before, um, he hit us up, like the scout from there, and was like, this is our first email we ever got. And he's like, I need people in California, like in 2 days. Like we need people now. And like, I guess they couldn't get people. They were struggling. So we were like, hey man, like I was like, yo, Roger, we gotta do this. Like this is we gotta freaking go. Like this is it. So we
Yeah.
went and those kind of things, I ended up talking to that scout a few months ago in person. I met him and he said like, thanks for doing that show for me. And he remembered that. So kind of things like that to get our foot in the door. So I've actually had a few other segments too. I had I'll kind of go through them. I had the reason I was it's really funny. Bronson Reed was just bodying people last year, like left and right. So we had him and Braun were having a feud, so we got involved with that a lot, and they just kept needing a bunch of people because of that feud, because both of them were taking out like 10 guys at a time. So that
Hmm.
was a lot of fun. I got choke slammed by Braun Strowman in the ring. That was awesome. Um, I got a segment with the Crown Jewel Championship. Me and Mike, the guy I mentioned, we opened the case to open Raw, and that thing was heavy, man. That thing felt like it was 100 pounds or something. Because they had like a freaking assault rifle bulletproof case like for the championship.
Yeah, that thing
And
is
then we
massive,
did,
dude.
yeah, I was like, I was genuinely like, I was afraid to drop it. Like it was really heavy. Um, we the first ever time we did it was SmackDown, and we weren't sure if we were gonna get used, and they operate really. It's live TV, man. So we were just standing there, and like it was literally 9:50, and the thing was gonna end at 10, and they were like, "Put this on right now. We might need you to go out there. We're not sure." You know what I mean? So live TV gets hectic back there. It's really interesting to see how that all works. Like you know, but the most recent one though, as the Jelly Roll, Logan, Randy, and Drew, that was really cool. Jelly Roll is a 10 out of 10 guy. He was incredible. That because we filmed two segments with them. We did one at the like kind of like their training session, and
Hmm.
that one was cool. We were just kind of just it was because when you're doing the extra work, it's chaotic. You know what I mean? And everyone's running around. Well, we were kind of in one spot for like 2 hours, just kind of chilling in the ring. So it was really different experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I love the way we got to do that segment. It is just really grateful for every experience I get. So yeah, so I mean, hopefully,
Dude,
there's
yeah.
more to come. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of those clips, man,
yeah,
because I didn't know that I thought it was just this one right here, but no, you've been there a few times, man, and that's good because it shows that you're reliable. You're there if they need it. So that I'm pretty sure, man, that's gonna come a long way. Um, I don't know, dude. I'm a weird believer of like good karma. If you do good stuff will happen to you. So I'm very glad to hear that. Shit. So you actually got to talk to some of these guys then, or like
yeah, I
jelly
mean,
rolling them?
because I was just Jelly Roll's just a really funny guy because we kept having to you know pause. They kept having hiccups and stuff. So I was just standing like this with him for like 20 minutes. I thought we were just talking, So he's nothing crazy, but I was asking him simple questions like how you like in wrestling, you know what I mean, and all these little things. So to be completely transparent, I don't really listen to his music too much, so I felt like that made me a lot easier to talk to him as just a normal guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like Logan, like you know, I was a fan of him a lot, with his YouTube and all that. So it's cool to see him, but at the end of the day, all these guys are just guys. You know what I mean? So and they're just being guys. So it's cool. It's a really great experience.
yeah,
You can
like that.
some of the things I did on my Instagram. There's a story highlight.
Okay,
It's like W or something. So you can see some of the
okay,
other ones.
yeah,
I
for
like
sure, dude.
Kevin Owens threw me into the wall or something. It's good.
Holy shit, man, that's crazy, dude. So you're like, you're there a lot, man. That's pretty impressive, man. And you know what they say about, the security guards in the WWE? They
Yeah,
usually tend to
yeah,
be
yeah.
the next world champion. So you never know. We could be looking at the next biggest WWE star right here, Danny Storm, man.
First, we got to become the Warriors Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. You know what I mean?
Oh, yep. There you
We
go.
gotta conquer everything we can. So
Yeah. How's that going so far?
It's great, man. And to touch on that a little more, right now I'm in a. So I mentioned my brother, and me and him are in a blood feud right now, man. This guy, he betrayed me. He joined
Mm-hmm.
the faction.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good stuff coming, and
Your biological brother?
yeah. Right now I'm
What an
having
asshole.
yeah, I know, bro. I got my family's torn. They don't know who to cheer for. It's gonna get my hands on him soon, so I'm really excited for that.
Right on. Well, yeah, dude. Gonna be definitely watching you and cheering you on throughout your whole entire career. I'm a fan now, dude, and I hope
Thank you, bro.
everyone that's listening also becomes a fan, which is one of the the main reasons why I like to do these things. So, definitely be on the lookout for Danny Storm, everybody. Is there anything else that I've missed that I didn't ask? We didn't get to talk about anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, I think I want to shout out with just Warriors and Joe Bellini, the owner. I mean, none of this would be possible without, that guidance, and obviously the fundamentals and the training, the way Warriors wrestling operates is really old school. Everything is fundamentals and basics and being safe, so just really want to, appreciate Warriors of Wrestling. And again, like, my story, I hope it can serve as a way to inspire. If you get knocked down, man, you can come back from it. I thought that what happened to me in the beginning of when I started training was I I had people tell me, like, why would you ever go back? Like, when I said I'm going to try again, they were like, you're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't out of like doubting me, it's more out of like safety. Like, hey man, like, you gotta
Right.
take
Take
care of
care of
yourself.
yourself. Yep.
And it isn't an easy thing. My back hurts. Everyone's back hurts when you do wrestling, right? You gotta take care of yourself though. You gotta wrestle safe. You don't want to do anything that's gonna, harm yourself. I'll save like one big dive a year, for a big match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta preserve yourself.
It's a long
And
game.
100%, 100%. Um, but yeah, no, shout out to again Mike Datello. Love him so much. Roger. Those guys. Like, again, like all the times I've done the traveling. They've always been by my side. So just a lot of people to be grateful for. Even my girlfriend, my family, my parents. So I'm really really happy with my journey so far. And again, like, no matter what direction it goes, I have a positive outlook on it, and I just want to get myself set up in the best way possible for whatever is ahead. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Also, want to give a quick shout out on the comments. The Heel Ship Podcast. These are my buddies, man. These are great guys. They have a huge show themselves. They said
Okay.
that they're a fan of Danny Storm now. They're going to be following Danny Storm. Shout out to Dark Draven and Elwood. Thank you guys.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. I'll check you guys out for sure. Thank you.
yeah, man. Um, before we get out of here, Danny, tell the people where they can find you, and do you have any upcoming matches you might want to promote or anything?
I got yeah, Instagram
Oh
is
yeah, the
Danny
one with your
Storm.
brother. Sorry, besides the one with your brother, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Uh the Instagram is Danny Storm with an underscore at the end. I gotta get rid of that underscore, but I gotta figure that out one day. That's where I primarily post. I should get more involved with other platforms. I have Facebook, but that's where I mainly post. And TikTok, same, it should be the same handle. I've been doing a lot of POV content, trying to use the Ray-Ban metas and capture different angles of wrestling training and matches, like point of view of your entrance, so I'm trying to cook up some cool content over there. And next matchup is I should be much better at this off the dome, but it's going to be in September, like for my Warriors, like my main show. September 6th, we have the King of New York tournament. So the winner of that will be able to get a title match. So hopefully I can come out as the 2025 King of New York, King
Hmm.
Storm, Thunder King. I would like the ring of that. So
Sounds nice, huh?
we got to get you in
Has
the
a
ring,
nice
bro.
ring
What
to it.
happened?
Um, I play soccer, dude. I play soccer, and even then, dude, I'm just not in shape, dude. I can't handle it at this point in my life. I think it's way too late for me. I'm good with that. I'm good with just sitting
Yeah.
back, and just watching
People in
you
their
young
30s,
guys.
there are people in WWE have definitely started in their 30s, but I know that's maybe the exception sometimes. But
Yeah.
I'm it's cool though. Like you found your way into get involved with the podcast and whatnot, and making content. So
Yeah, dude, I
staying
love it.
involved in the passion. So
Yeah, dude, and like you said, I mean, I just like being in, being a part of it. It doesn't matter in what, avenue or whatever. I just like being a part of it. So, yeah, man, it's lovely, dude. Thank you so much, Danny, for coming on to the show, man. It was such a pleasure to having you on, and thank you for taking the time. That was it for the
absolutely.
Snug Wrestling Podcast for today. My name is Edgar. I'm the host of Snug Wrestling. We'll see you on the next one, and don't forget, leave a star rating and review, and check out Danny Storm at Warriors of Wrestling. Peace out,
Thanks,
y'all.
Edgar. Peace.